Good morning, everyone. Rise and shine with global entertainment news morning boss. I am your host, Busola, and joining me today is
Bella.
okay. We are taking our today's top story from the leadership and the Daily Post. Today's top story from the leadership from the Daily Post. Absentees teachers to face dismissal in Abia. Abia State government has warned public school teachers in the state against indulging in misconduct, dereliction and negligence of duty, warning that such attitude would henceforth attract several consequences. The executive chairman, Abia State Universal Basic Education Board, Lydia Onuhoha, who handed down the warning on Tuesday in Umuahia, said that misconduct would lead to query, suspension, and dismissal from duty. She said that the Abia State government observed with dismay the growing trend of irregular attendance and absentees among some public school teachers in the state, despite laudable effort and intervention of the administration of Governor Alex Otti toward a better welfare for them. She announced that such disciplinary measures would be applied on any identified teacher in line with public service rule and teachers' code of conduct. The full weight of public service rules shall be invoked where necessary, and the government will not hesitate to act in the interest of the children and the future of our state, she warned.
I feel like this is actually a good step to actually combat when it comes to seriousness in teachers and also seriousness in students as well. I There might be a lot of reasons that could have come, but making it a regular thing for you to be absent from
Absent in
from
school.
school is really a bad one. So if you are ready to actually take up a work, you have to make sure that your every rules and regulation will be followed. So I feel like the Abia government is actually doing their best, and then it's a good one for me.
Yeah, imagine them being paid their salary, they are not behold, and you will not work to the
Diligent and
exactly. It is so bad. All right, let's move on. EFCC arraigns man for alleged 1 million naira fraud in Maiduguri. Commission EFCC has arraigned one Mustapha Idris before Justice Aisha of the Borno State High Court in Maiduguri over an alleged 1 million naira fraud. The Maiduguri Zonal Directorate of the EFCC brought Idris before the court on Tuesday, July 1, on a one-count amended charge of criminal misappropriation. According to the charge, the defendant in 2023 allegedly dishonestly misappropriated the sum of 1 million naira belonging to one Salusi Waziri under the pretext of investing in grain trading, a claim the EFCC said was false. EFCC has arraigned one.
well, I feels like this thing of a fraud of a thing has become a rampant. It's
Yeah,
either
no.
is actually a minor one or a huge one that involve online scamming, and then let me put it as a romance scam and all that, and then making a false pretense of loving someone and then trying to extort money from it. And then I feel we are really combating, let me say, the EFCC are
They are really
actually
trying.
doing their best to actually put end to this. Even though there's still going to be some people that will say that EFCC is looking away from the politician that is looting money here and there. But well, we should start from the leaders of tomorrow and then try to put them into the right direction, and there will be a fit for us, for them also to actually lead those that are coming after them. But right now it's not as if to point fingers, because Nigerians are good at that, to actually point fingers when they needed to focus on what is actually happening at hand. So it's a good one to the
Yeah,
EFCC.
kudos to the EFCC. But they should keep up the work. They should not say, okay, because they are saying one, they are taking one, they are catching one, they should stop what they are doing. They should omit the necessary things they ought to do. But kudos to them. All right, let's move on. Flood disasters. Kebbi Deputy Governor visits affected homes in Rafin Atiku. Residents of Rafin Atiku ward in Benin, Kebbi received a visit from the Deputy Governor of Kebbi State, Senator Umar Abubakar, following recent flooding that destroyed several homes and properties. During the inspection on Tuesday, Senator Tafida assessed the extent of the destruction, which residents attributed to torrential rainfall and blocked the drainage channels. The flood reportedly led to the collapse of buildings and loss of food items, clothing, and household belongings in many homes. Accompanying the deputy governor on the visit were top government officials, including the chairman of the State Emergency Management Agency (SEMAN), Bello Yakubu Ralisco, Commissioner for Environment Alhaji Musa Mohammed, and Commissioner for Youth and Sport Comrade Nural Bala.
Uh, I feel it's very, very bad for the those that actually lost
Yes, it's
their
happened.
property, and also those that haven't been discovered by the flood. Because when it comes to water disaster, you don't know where it can take people to.
Mhm.
You don't know how it can very be destructive. Even though we still feels like water is what water flood is very bad thing to actually happen in a community, displacing people of their home and then their livelihood, and then it's really devastating. I feel like since the deputy governor is going to be visiting them, then I feel there's going to be a refugee camp for them that they should actually stay, and then make sure that within some months there's also a provide of provision for them, and make sure those things are being avoided next time. The block drainage and all that should be cleared, and then make way for the water to pass to the dam and not to destroy people's life and
House,
then
yeah,
and house and
because
other.
it was said that the drainage was blocked, and this can be avoided. A
Yes,
lot of
exactly.
things that can be avoided, but our government, they will just, they tends to keep their eyes, they tends to take away their eyes. They should just look into this. All right, let's move on. Police arrest suspected cultists, vehicle vandals in Lagos. Operative of the Rapid Response Squad (RSS) of the Lagos State Police Command have arrested three suspects over alleged involvement in cultism and vehicle vandalism. According to a statement posted on the RRS Facebook page on Tuesday, one suspect was arrested last Wednesday at about 10 p.m. in Oshodi area while reportedly carrying a locally made pistol and two live rounds of ammunition. The arrest was based on intelligence gathered by the RRS. In another development on Saturday around 4 a.m., two suspects, 25-year-old Kazeem Oyebola and 35-year-old Olamileko Babalola, were caught loading six Ford Escape tire, rims and other vehicles parts into Zuku's key minibus near Otedola Bridge. The minibus bore the registration number LSD 736YK.
The vandalism of motor parts, and even not just the motor part but also government property, has really been a very bad let me say representation of Nigerians behavior, because we are tend to like look into the very most important thing that we human beings should do. But I feel like we lack that when it comes to being responsible for many things, because we feel like the only thing that needed to be done right now is for us to go into the bad way, because we feel like the government is not doing anything, the insecurity is increasing, the kidnapping is increasing, and then you that's supposed to be as a good example, you are already putting up a show of being into vandalism and then kidnapping and robbery at that. It's really sad. We can do better than this. You can't be caught into unlawful crime in the states that we all are facing the same disaster for. Most of us that are actually shouting for a change, it's not as if that we don't have a choice to actually go into the wrong path and then be in doing something, some crime in the country, committing crime, but we choose that we still hope for a change. But you are contributing to the disaster that is already in the country. You are contributing worse than that to the disaster that is already in the country.
I used to say, we shouting that the government are not doing what they want to do, the leadership are not doing the right thing. Okay, what are we doing to help? Rather, we are worsening the situation. Kudos to those that were able to catch them. Let's just keep up the good work. Okay, let's move on to today's top story from the leadership newspaper. Demolition. Properties owners beg government referee to adjust size of road to reduce destruction. Properties owners along Afiko Road, Old Ogoja Road and Ojo Owerri Street, all within the Abakaliki metropolis, have called on Governor Francis to adjust the size of the road from 10.8 meters to 5.5 meters to save a large numbers of buildings along the corridor from total demolition. Some of the property owners made appeal during a town hall meeting of the state governor with Ebonyi State Landlord Association. Property owners along Old Ogoja Road, Old Afiko Road, Ojo Owore Street and Bako Water Works Road, among others. The property owners lamented that should the governor go ahead with the government's stipulated rituals and subsequent demolition exercise, a chunk of their building, which include newly constructed four-star hotels, shopping malls, police stations, banks, and residential buildings, will be completely demolished. One of them, the CEO of Groove Hotel Abakaliki, Eda Silas Orawo, expressed the fear that half of the hotel building would be pulled down and appealed to the governor to reduce the road size to save them. He added that with the proposed adjustment of 4.5 meters, the destruction will be minimal. Your Excellency, should the road be reduced from 10.8 meters to 4.5 meters or 5 meters, the demolition will only affect the hotel generator house while the building will be saved. We are appealing to you to reconsider your stand and adjust the meters to enable us to save some parts of our properties.
This is one thing we always have to consider those that wanted to build house along the roadside. If it's going to be something that belongs to the government, there is no appealing that you can appeal for them not to actually demolish. If you are ready to build a house, you have to consider the environment, make inquiries, ask questions. Now they are going to be affected by it, and then it's very very necessary for the government to do their work when it comes to their notice that the road being used by motorists are very small and then it's
It needs
not
to be
enough.
expanded.
So it needs to be expanded. So I don't know how it's really a sad thing on their behalf, but I feels like this thing has already been deemed to happen. If it's government property, it's government project, and they are going to extend it. So if you are pleading on them that they should not, the 10.8 meters should be reduced to
To
4.5,
4.5.
you have to consider those that are actually passing. If the government does not reduce it, you building along the roadside, accidents can happen, casualty on the road can happen that can affect
Them too.
your building as well. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, I will not blame any one of them because before they could get the land, or let me say they could acquire the land, we had to blame those that sell the land to them.
Well, those that sells the land does not have anything to be blamed about.
What if
It's
they
you,
know that it is a government property but they sold it to them?
it's you that is having a purchase of anything. You have every right to make inquiries on what you are buying. Someone can come and says that I wanted to sell something to you, and then you know that this thing needed to make an inquiries. If you are going for a job, you have to make inquiries. What and what does this thing need? You have to learn about it. You don't just jump into it because someone came to sell for you. You are not being handcuffed for not, or your eyes are being shut for not making inquiries. It is therefore those that actually know that even if this thing does not belong to the government, but you building close to a roadside, a motorable roadside, a busy road for that matter, you have to know that circumstances can come at any time.
Wow. All right, let's move on. Shippers councils meet truckers union to end extortion container detention. The Nigerian Shippers Council (NSC) has expressed readiness to end extortion, container detention and other challenges affecting truck owners' operations in the nation's maritime sector. This was disclosed by the Executive Secretary, Dr. Pius Akuta, when he paid a working visit to the Association of Maritime Truck Owners as part of efforts to strengthen collaboration and address key challenges affecting inland cargo transportation. Dr. Akuta, who was represented by the Director Inland Transport Service Alhaji Mustapha Subari, said the visit was aimed at identifying and finding solutions to the issue facing cargo movement, within and around port corridors. The Shippers Council boss assured Amato of the council commitment to improve port efficiency. He reaffirmed the NSC continued engagement with stakeholders to address operational gaps and strengthen inland transport system.
This is one of the things that when you look at it, you're going to remember, you're going to realize that it's part of the things that is hiking
Yeah,
food
food price.
price in the country right now, and then we are still talking about it. If those inland and then let me say the waterways as well are complaining of this amount of being exhausted from them, then you know that those that are going to be buying from this cargo and truck are going to be the ones to
To
pay
suffer
for
for
a
it.
higher price. And them selling out to we, the final consumer, we are going to be adding a tip to it for the money that they have spent to actually clear their
Goods,
containers
yeah.
and cargo. It's really alarming. If everybody wanted to exhaust the other, how are we going to survive in the country? This one is complaining of being exhausted a lot, and the other one, and all that, and then it's all come together to accumulate, and then we don't know where to go. A lot is happening. We are complaining of insecurity and inflation, food price and hiking of
Petrol
all
is
that,
there a
but
lot.
still yet there is no changes or whatsoever. So we really need this thing to come into consideration that we all are in this state
Mm-hmm.
together, that we should consider ourselves in any way that we can. If the leadership are not paying attention, we the citizens needed to at least assist ourselves in any way that we can.
Yeah, as well. Let's move on. Stakeholders raise alarm over growing cases of violence against women, girls in Osun State. Stakeholders have warned of consequences of growing cases of violence against girls and women in Osun State. The advocate They advocated the full implementation of violence against women and girls prohibition law of Osun State to stem the trend. Also, in a bid to prevent further harm to victims of VAWG, media practitioners were charged to embrace ethical practice when reporting issues related to violence against women and girls. The stakeholders that consisted traditional rulers, religious leaders, media practitioners, law enforcement agents, human rights activists, all animals condemned the menace and called for concerted efforts to curb the act. Speaking at the workshop organized by the Center of the Women, Health and Information in Osogbo recently, Executive Director Atinuke Odukoya lamented the frequency of violence against girls and women in the state. She highlighted the media role as a powerful agenda setter and mindset shaper and charged them to use the platform to build a culture where violence is neither normalized nor tolerated. In his keynote address, the special advisor to Osun Governor on Public Communication, Mr. Olushola Ajala said, everyone has a role to play toward putting an end to VAWG. He said, we must get to a point where the society will say, we don't do this here, adding that the moment the society frowns to perpetrators, it becomes aberration. He noted that arbitrary sensationalizing of violence stories by media practitioners, especially as it affects girls and women, for whatever reason will have negative impact on the victim, send wrong signal to the society and eventually have negative consequences for the medium of communication.
This is actually a good one, talking about the violence against women and girls. It's actually a good one for a notice, but at the same time, I'm going to use this opportunity to actually say that it is not just girls and women that is actually a point of violence, but also they should look at the
Boys and
boys
men.
boys and men as well. Many men are being told that if you voice out, you are being looked down on of not being a man enough to act. But we have to also have acknowledge of men frustration and then the abuse and violence that they go through, even with their own fellow men and their own fellow and women as well. I'm sorry for that. But this is actually a good one, because in a community that you will have to wake up every day and then you find violence against everyone, violence against women, violence against women. So that is a good step for the government of the Osun State taking. And then we also wanted to tell them that they should come up with the idea for also organize a foundation for the
Men
boys
also.
and the men as well, so that they can actually have an awareness and then be cautioned and be looked out for. They are not supposed to be neglected. They are also human, and then they can be weak at times. So they should also be looked out for, and then organize some club for them, that things can actually take a U-turn. It's not supposed to
Well,
be.
I will implore other states to take this as an example. It should not only be in Osun State. Other states should also take it up. All right, viewers, thank you for joining us today on the Breakfast Show. I've been your host, Busola. I hope you enjoyed today's program. Be sure to share, like, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, have a lovely day. Bye.